Hi, Mom.
All right, now we're going to bring Cari on. Cari, how are you?
Fantastic.
Now, I saw a few minutes ago a much less attractive person was sitting in front of the camera. What is going on with that?
I wasn't sure if I was going to have a pure green screen or an actual screen, so I had him fix it. But
Oh,
he
I'm
didn't have his
like,
makeup on today.
Cari, what happened? Poor woman. Anyways, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good,
So
good.
great to have you back.
So
Thank
for
you. I'm
everyone
glad
on
to be
here, this is Cari Bartholomew, and so you've got an event coming up. So go ahead and lay out for us who's the event with, what's it for, and what's it got going on.
Sure. Let me start a little bit behind that, if that's okay. So, I recently ran for state school board. I did not win. But it was very close. So it was about 1,100 votes.
And you educated a lot of people in your campaign. You run an
Yes.
excellent campaign.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But a lot of doors opened, and so two of the doors that opened for me. Sorry, I see Adam writing ha ha ha. So,
Yes.
so two doors opened for me, and it was two parental groups, and one brought the heart, and one brought the bomb throwing, and I felt like maybe Utah needed a little bit of both, but I wanted to go with the one with the heart. So I chose to go with Moms for America. And especially after Kimberly Fletcher, the founder, called me personally and said, I want you to bring the sass to Moms for America.
Oh.
Awesome.
So that's how that worked. And so
Tell
we
us
have
about
our
Moms
launch.
for America.
Right, Moms for America. And what we are actually is Moms for America Action.
Action, right.
So Moms for America has been in Utah for 14 years, and they have been, they're very well respected women's group who have really taught the principles of liberty within their homes. So like homeschool curriculum and things like that. Now what we've decided to do, can you hear me? I feel like
Yeah,
there's a
we've got some distortion coming across your,
Like a
on my
background hum.
yeah.
There it is. It's gone.
Is it gone?
Push
It
that
was.
button again.
I didn't push a button.
Oh, well, whatever you did. Are you holding the cable?
No, but is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, let me text him since he's here.
Every once in a while, you moved your hand and it went away, and then it came back.
That could have been us talking.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's coming across your line. I've done the tests on this end.
Okay.
And it could be
Adam,
interference.
get in there. I know you're watching. Get in there.
Right.
Let's see you again, and let's get this. But please continue. I'm sorry.
And I want to say this, Adam, you're much more handsome than I am. You're just not as pretty as Cari.
Here he comes. Here he comes to save the day. All right.
So
There's
Moms for
some-
America in Action, you would
Okay.
say that they started like with a homeschool group, and
So they started with like a homeschool curriculum. Yep, you've got it right there. So a homeschool curriculum. Their goal was to empower parents, promote liberty, and to raise patriots. And so they've been doing that for 14 years. They've been advocating for good policy, all sorts of things. Sorry, and
oh, it stopped.
Oh, he stole your sound.
and that was important to me. Ooh, does that sound better?
No, it's still the same.
Okay.
But if we have to deal with it,
That's okay. If we have to deal with it, we'll deal with it.
Okay. Can you still see me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
great. Is that better?
No, not yet.
No.
We'll go back to this
I
one
think you
that
just have to
way.
get that bait.
Yep. We'll just suffer
Okay,
through it.
So what happened with this organization is that they asked Brooke Stevens, who is Laverna in the library, and I
Mhm.
heard some of the conversation about books in the library. So they asked Brooke Stevens and myself to come on and to bring the heart, but also to bring kind of the guts, because I have felt for a long time that Utah is very asleep. Not everyone, but that there's a lot of people who are asleep in Utah. And so we want to wake them up, but we want to wake them up gently and truthfully and not hyperbolically, if that
And
makes
with a
sense.
lot of fear.
Right. I mean, there are reasons to be concerned. I sent you guys a couple of pictures. There are reasons to be concerned, but there always needs to be reasons of hope, and on top of that, it has to be truthful. So you can't say that, oh my gosh, they're going to put horned demons in our kindergarten classrooms reading to our children, because no, they're not. That's not what's happening. It's a lot more subtle than that. So one of the things, so Brooke is very big into advocacy. So we want to build relationships with legislatures. We want to do kitchen table work where we're building that relationship, where we are the people that they come to when they have questions specifically pertaining to education, specifically pertaining to SEL and CRT and DEI. I don't want them calling a left-leaning person to get advice for a state that claims it doesn't want to be left-leaning.
Sure. We're leaving it up to the experts. We are a country that relies too much on experts rather than common sense anymore.
Exactly.
So to bring something like this, and we can share those photos that you sent, but one example is the discussion of American history and how we're founded on it's a horrible history. We enter a long, bitter story of U.S., a history that began with cruel invasion, stealing land from native people, bringing enslaved captives all the way from Africa, and then seizing a huge part of Mexico. Well, that's part of this story. The other part was inspiration and freedom and, the individual spirit. I mean, and what country doesn't have a history like this? I mean, borders are made because of wars that are fought. And what about America being the first to end slavery and the 650,000 lives that they gave to end it, the Civil War? I mean,
Well, we were just talking. Well, it was Columbus Day this weekend, right?
Yeah.
And they're debating Columbus Day versus Indigenous Peoples Day. And someone asked me, "Can you please make a rebuttal?" Because there's a group that really promotes that negative America sucks kind of mentality. And so they said, can you talk a little bit more about Columbus? And I really had to read it. I mean, I'm public school educated, so I had to do some research. And so I looked at a few things, and one of the things I found out was that, I mean, I knew obviously that Columbus was a religious person, and I'd heard before about the Caribs, which I can't forget because that's basically my name. So so I'd heard about those things, but there were 13 there were 13 pilgrimages of Christians, right? And there were over 538 Islamic, but we don't have that conversation. So I think it's really important, as I always have, that our kids, that our families have a strong, truthful education. We don't need to be afraid of the truth. And I think I've decided that that's the new term for woke. My students were asking me that the other day, and they were like, "What does woke mean?" And I said, "I think woke means that you are no longer able to question what is true.
Yeah.
You are just told true, and you believe it, and that's where you go from there."
That's a good definition of it. I think it's claiming your victimhood and demanding the rest of the world claim it as well. That's what I see woke as.
That's true, but I think that those things of claiming your victimhood, some people shouldn't be claiming. Some people
I agree.
No victimhood to claim.
I agree.
It's not questioning. You're just handed it and told you're a victim.
They're I should say designing a victimhood. Right now, the world has an issue that they look at. They look at victimhood as a moral high ground. They looked at victimhood is the ultimate aspirant you can have right now, is to be able to find where I'm a victim. I failed because someone else did it to me. Look, I'm the ugliest person on this screen because of you and Holly here. I am a victim right now, and people need to really support me in my desire. No, you are who you are. Your history is your history. Everyone has sufferings, everyone has successes, but the world right now focuses all on sufferings. You see it anywhere you look right now. Any argument around the world, anything is viewed for this spectrum.
Yes. And that's because it keeps you in a cage.
He
It keeps
fixed
you
it.
weak.
Yep.
And so in terms of promoting liberty, that is when we have a lot of people who at our launch, for instance, Gabby is going to come, and when Gabby speaks, she is from Cuba. She has a 5-month-old child, and she is a very fierce little 25-year-old woman. Little, that sounds condescending. I don't mean that, but she's 25, and she's ready to fight because she comes from a communist country, right? And so finding people who are committed to patriotism because of what it has been for them, I think is really important. So
And we also have Brooke here as well. Mind if I bring her in with you?
Yeah, yes, bring Brooke in.
Hi.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you tonight, Brooke?
I'm great. I love working with Cari. I'm super excited to get Moms for America out and just help people start to engage really effectively with their communities and make sure it's the place that they want to be. Make sure it's the home they want for their families. And so it's really exciting, the opportunity that we have, especially this upcoming election. So I don't know if you've introduced, but I'm the Civic Engagement Director for Moms for America. And I built an app called Amplify USA so that people can educate themselves, and it has ratings for every level of government, the federal and state level, for any contested race. And it's from out of Texas. It's a company called iVoterGuide. And a lot of times when you want to know information about people, the problem is, well, who do I ask and who do I trust? And this company has been around for 10 years. And so that is a really good, they're really thorough, and they back everything up with facts. So they'll have an endorsement, they'll have questionnaires, they'll have who contributed to their campaign. And then they'll also have other information like how they voted. So you can see all that. And so it's not just randomly, oh, I don't like them, or there's 5 points of data. They get as much as they can, and then they share it with people. So we're trying to help people know where to go to get that information so that they can make the best decision for them and for their families.
That's brilliant. As a voter, that could be a huge tool. I mean, there's too much information out there. How nice that you'd have an option to kind of gather that information and put it in one place that's accessible to everyone. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and the other piece is we have information from local groups, because a lot of people will go to social media and there's a lot of animosity or vitriol, and they're like, oh, I don't want to go there anymore, especially for politics.
What?
Like, yeah.
Tell me more. Where is this?
So we've lost this ability to communicate. So intentionally on Amplify, there's no chat feature. It's only information from all the platforms. So you have all the local groups who are doing their research. They may disagree with each other. They may not, but there's nobody liking it. And you can see what they have to say. It links to their website. And you don't have to sign up with them on Facebook or Telegram or whatever, because we keep it all there. And because one of the problems we were seeing is that in Facebook, the algorithms will make it disappear, or not a lot of people will see it. And so they won't get that information. So there's no algorithms. You see it by the date. You can sort it by the organization. And we're just trying to inform with local people who are really passionate about giving and sharing their research. And so it's not social media, but it's social information. And we hope.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is it an app or a website?
It's a mobile app, and
Okay, what's it called?
it's called Amplify USA, and it's free in the iTunes or whatever, the App Store and Google Play. And the reason it's a mobile app, people say, I don't want to download another app. But the reason it is because most people don't know who represents them, how to contact them, and what the issues are. And so you need to be constantly just aware, and it will send you that information as much as it's out there. And so not just for voting time, but holding your reps accountable and saying, hey, this bill is coming up. How did you vote? It can send you a note on so we were having trouble like giving messages to people based on their location, who their reps are. So if you choose a certain rep and they have a town hall, it will pop up only for the people that rep has a town hall for. It's not like, how do I get them all into all these separate groups for each rep? You don't have to. You're automatically getting the messages for each rep if they're in your dashboard. And we don't get any data on what you're doing either. So my husband and I built this. So I'm not like, oh, this person believes this. We can't see it. The messages come directly from your personal phone or from your email that we don't see. It just links to it, so you have your privacy. But it's so critical to get people engaged in a way that makes sense to them, where they don't feel they're being manipulated, where they're making the decisions. And that's what we're hoping to do with Moms for America Action, is to really empower parents and moms to know that their absence is felt. And when they show up, that's when the difference starts to really benefit all members of the community. And we can no longer be absent from it. This is a time when just our tiny, small actions will have a big effect for our community and our state.
I love it. I'm looking it up right now, because that is something that I would love. I would love to have a one place where I can put my candidates in, and then it's going to tell me essentially how they voted. Does it tell you what the bill is? Does it define a bill?
Oh, yes. And
that's huge.
Yeah, and it's from all these organizations who have their specialty, and they do their research. And even if you don't agree with the organization, they're giving you a starting place of where to continue your research. And so it's not like you have to do everything that they put out there. And Moms for America is one of those. Another one is American Family Action that I'll be adding soon, but they're excellent at federal level legislation. They're great watchdogs at that. And then we can engage with our congressmen and our senators really intelligently. It's not like, well, I don't know enough about that. They research it, write it down as much as you need to know, and then say, the bill is going to go to be voted on next week. Call them before that. And so hopefully people can see that it isn't that hard and Utah is amazing because we have so many groups doing this. We really have a plethora of groups who are engaged. It's just a matter of bringing that to the people who, don't really know where to start right now. And so,
right. And this is an easy format, and I don't know if people can see it, but I see, for example, if Chris Stewart's your representative, you've got him. He's no longer our representative, but you put in your district and it'll tell you who your representative is. And then you can follow them on your dashboard. And you're saying that I'm downloading it now. So people take a look at it, because this is pretty dang cool. And you're not tracking people's information or data, and you're not selling it. You're probably not putting advertisement inside, or are you? How do you fund this app?
I'm embarrassed, but we did get some donors, and
Great.
then the rest came from our mortgage on our house.
Oh,
And
Okay.
yeah, right.
Advertising in there.
yeah. It's time to start selling data.
Well, that is a huge commodity right now.
That's the new world. That's where it's at.
I can imagine that electeds would want to donate to something like this. And I can also imagine that people like me would like to buy advertising on your page, especially during election time. If anything, just to let people know about my candidates and about my county or something. I mean, this is a great idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that people will take advantage of it, and that everyone can benefit. And I'm sure there's a way to monetize. That hasn't been my biggest priority. My biggest priority has been to restore the people to government. A lot of people will say, I don't like government. And I'm like, but you like your community and you want to preserve it. And
But that's why I don't like government.
well, you have to, it's kind of a strange position to be in, to say you don't like government, because we truly are sovereign. The people are sovereign, and the government can't or shouldn't be able to do anything without us. So our absence is giving them way too much power. And for us to bring it back and say, yes, the people are sovereign. I'm just going to do 5 minutes a week. And with 5 minutes a week, the difference we could make? Our legislators would be like, what is happening here? How come so many people understand the issues? Because a lot of the legislators have full-time jobs in Utah. It's amazing. There's no paid, they can't be full-time like in other states. And so they don't have a whole lot of time to research every single issue. And so we, the people, have to research this and share it with them and show up in numbers for things that matter to us. And this is giving them the power to do that.
This
Yes,
is
I
way
like it.
easy. I'm literally setting it up right now.
I like it.
And this is really easy. And for people who do podcasts or anything political, this is an automatic information. I mean, you're doing research for us.
So that we can get in there and snipe them. All right.
Yeah.
So, but I want to get back to, so you got an event coming up, right? Let's go ahead and pull up the event.
You're muted, Cari, I think.
Oh, Carrie's not talking to us. She doesn't want to talk to us anymore. She just wants to show us her face. But she's got her producer in. But I'll go ahead and lead off the read for the event, if that's okay. So, Moms for America Action, they have a one-day Utah Summit Thursday, October 24th at the Calvary Mountain View Church. That's 340 East State Street in American Fork, Utah. And some of the people you can expect if you attend, Burgess Owens, he will be there. Is that Kimberly Fletcher?
Yes.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Nice 2020.
I know.
Vision there.
I know. Julene Jackson.
Nicolene Peck.
Yes, Nicolene Peck. She's a
Willa County's
local, a local, and she's also running to be our local rep here in Tooele. You're gonna have to read the other names because I can't zoom in on it because I'm sharing it on the screen. If I zoom in, it'll mess it up. But give us the other names, Cari.
Can I give you the other names? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, great. So on the bottom, you're going to see a bunch of our elected officials. So what we're doing with them now, some people have been upset because they don't agree with all of the elected officials. But the thing is that we need to build relationships with them.
Yes.
Right. And so this is an opportunity for as many elected officials as possible to come out and to meet their constituents and for us to kind of have some influence. So we are, all of us will be speaking in the evening, and then we're going to just mix and mingle with them for an hour. We're also raising, we're retrieving relief funds for hurricane victims. So Glenn Beck is sending a Mercury 1 truck out.
Awesome.
So Moms for America is pretty large. Moms for America, Kimberly Fletcher has been an advisor to President Trump, a parental advisor. And so they're coming. Yeah, she's coming out for a vigil the night before with Mom Army. So that's the first thing that we're doing. And then we have our summit. And our summit really is about, like I said before, sorry, this has been all floppy. It's really about bringing the heart. So Brooke is extremely organized and extremely fierce and effective in the things that she does. And where I believe my strength is in bringing people together. So I have seen a ton of division within the Conservative Party itself.
I know you have. It's been a
People who
contentious
can't-
race.
Right. And it's been just awful to watch people who agree on so much tear each other down. And I also believe that after the election, whether our side wins or loses, it's going to be a very distraught time for a lot of people. Families are not going to speak to each other.
It's true.
You know,
And it's funny,
What
they're
would
not
you
going to
say?
speak to each other on grounds of the same political party.
Yes.
We're seeing a big shift come on. It's wild.
Yes, yes. And so we need to bring the heart back in. And who else brings back a heart but the mother? The mothers, the nurturing spirit. The
Yeah.
ones who say, you know what, we're not going to put up with drama. We're going to just create a nurturing environment. So the things that I want to see happen in communities right now, Moms for America has for 14 years here had book clubs where ladies get together and they discuss constitutional principles. We're kind of I hate to say it this way in case I offend anyone, but we're kind of the younger generation of this. And so we're bringing in what's relevant right now. So we just finished the book, The Queering of the American Child. We're reading books like Rules for Radicals. And we're doing whatever our community wants. Like our leadership, one of the things I love about Moms for America is that we're servant-led. So we're not top down, look at me, I'm the boss. We're, how can I help you thrive as a mom? As, you know, and also we have moms, we have Grandma Grizzlies, and we have future moms, because we know that our youth are being targeted hard by the left. And
Our
we
very
need to bring
prosperity. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Our very prosperity. And even the
Yes.
future of babies in the womb that are targeted.
Yes, absolutely.
This is huge. And
But our
what
young
better? Let's
people-
empower each other as women.
Right. And let's not make the idea that you need to be a mother and something else. You absolutely can be, but you don't have to be, because the slogan that we use is that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Right. And so
Yeah.
if we rule the world, if we shape the world, then we've got to be active in it. And I think for a very long time, we have checked out. We have let social media tell us how we need to parent. We've taken on every craze like gentle parenting or whatever else, when we know what's true and we need to hold on to true things. We are the best educators for our children. And I'm not talking necessarily academically, although I am pro school choice, but I'm talking about in all of those things that
Morally. Yeah.
I mean, a young woman came up to me today. She's a 10th grader, and she showed me this article that she's writing about how upset she is that they're always on Chromebooks. They're just always on Chromebooks, and she's like, "We're not learning anything. It's kind of gamified, and you know, like we're at school." And she literally wrote, "Our teachers are playing Candy Crush." Now, I don't believe that's every teacher. But I do think that we've got to do what we can as mothers, both in our homes, but we also need to be informed enough, and we have to know what we do, because I have parents who will say, "What do I do about this? And what do I do about this? And, you know, all of these things are happening. What can I do?" And I just look at them and I say, "Where do your rights come from?" That's the first thing you have to know, is where do your rights come from? Your rights come from God. Right? And if you can start there, then you have some power, and then you can go and advocate, then you can learn. But you have to start at a balanced place. One of the things that we've heard is, you know, don't go to a place that's just going to set your hair on fire. And there are people who will just set your hair on fire.
That's true.
But the thing about Moms for America,
Why'd you look
is
at
that
me?
people-
Just because I have a lapse of it doesn't mean I want to erase it from everyone else.
Because my own children aren't in the room, and neither
Oh,
is
okay.
the Democratic Party that I so
Oh.
often engage with. So you're it. You're targeted. Please forgive me. Go on.
But the people who are coming to us, it's not that they want their hair set on fire. It's that the fires are there, and they want help putting them out.
And navigating through them or expecting them before they come. How to
Right.
logically look at the scenario, empower yourself, and know that those around you want what's best for you as you do for them. And they help you navigate those really hard waters. Our kids don't come with instructions. And if you're an atheist, you can still look at who gives me my rights. I do.
Right.
I empower if you don't believe in God. But those of us that do, we have that area where, hey, all glory be to God. We are empowered by him. And in him, we empower our children, ourselves, our communities. And it's not that men aren't important. It's that we need each other. We need each other. And the mom has to be playing the exact role that God chose for us to play. And we make the house a home. Daddy brings
one of
the
the
home.
slogans that we
Right
have
now,
is
I've
that
got
we're
a
the
strong urge to make all those jokes that my dad taught me.
You just settle down. You are outnumbered here, sir.
Okay, but one of our organizations, one of the things Kimberly Fletcher says is we are the female organization that loves men. We
That's
love
true.
the father. We venerate the father as much as they venerate the housewife or the mother, right?
We don't have a family without him.
Yeah.
The family is vital.
Yes.
And the family is the thing that's under attack. Everything else, you can look at it however you want to, but it comes down to the family. Because
By
without
design.
the family, then you need a replacement for that family. And that replacement for the family tends to be government. And that's what our kids are being taught, whether that is in social media or whether that is in some of their classrooms.
Oh, it's subtle too. You know, in a lot of movies and video or television shows, they make the dad look like this huge doofus.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get irritated when I watch, television and they make the police look like huge doofuses. And it's all by design. It's a mockery of the important role that these father, police, firemen, that firemen never get to be a doofus in movies. It's just police and dads. But
wait, there was that one
I think
where
that
the two firemen married each
it's
other.
by design. One movie. It is and it's Adam Sandler.
Yes.
It's by design because one, you get God out of people's lives. We no longer have a moral society that values life. And when that happens, everything else is on the table. And that's why you're battling daily what your children learn. If you can't teach your children their value at home before they hit the streets.
Yes.
And I think it was Hamilton. If you'll stand for nothing, then you'll fall for anything. Right. And I keep hearing that line, like as mothers, we need to teach our kids their value, and dads need to show them what their value looks like when they're all grown up.
And the big thing about dads is dads need to take on the protective role in the household so that the mother is free to mother and nurture. Because if the dad's gone, then the mother isn't free to nurture. And that's why we've got a sick, collapsing society.
Yeah, a social mental illness.
How many generations has that been? Because that's the thing, is we have to start with first empowering parents.
Yeah.
And so we have to look at, what do parents not know? Because
wow, somebody took their hair down. Woo! Talk about fire.
She's getting spicy now.
Yeah.
My goodness, look at that mane. I'm sorry. I got one of these. I was like, was this a L'Oreal commercial? Dang, Brooke. Okay, carry on. You two are sassy and sparkly. I love it.
Well, I love this conversation around the family, because one of the ways that we have to engage with legislators is called the family lobby. And it's really, really simple. You write a card to them, and everybody in the family signs it with a picture of your family to your elected officials. And my kids all did it. They signed it. And the response I got was amazing. My state school board member came and he says, I love that letter that you sent to me. And I was like, what letter? I was so dumb. But I was teaching my kids that even if you don't agree with your elected official, you have to build relationships with them, because when there are these key issues that come, you need to be able to have a relationship to talk with them, and there need to be positive things. It's not just about yelling at them or whatever. They're in service, they're serving us, and forming those relationships will help us be better represented. And it is the whole family. It's the picture of the mom, the dad, the kids. They sign it. They know they're a part of it, and they feel that too. So this engagement
If
is,
I could, I'm sorry. Adding a face, you're not a number. You're
Yeah.
a family. And I
Mhm.
think about this with our Senate and our Congress, and I think sending your family, your young men, your young women, before they make an act like, oh, let's put boots on the ground in this country or this country, you're looking at a face that you're willing to risk their life in battle before coming up with something that's not going to take us to war and things like that. I think that has an impact that's probably, I mean, I never even thought to do that.
Yeah. Well, and they also, I mean, they're going to represent who contacts them most, you know? So, I mean, Chuck Schumer, when Satan calls him up, he's going to represent him. He's going to come forward and bring the heavy, you know, and Nadler is going to do like Beelzebub. But I digress.
Weird. You digress?
No, that's a good idea. Lobbying shouldn't be this pay for play system. It should be when you reach out to your representative, you are lobbying them. It just got that name because Grant was a crook. But lobbying, that is what you're doing. And if everyone, like Celeste Malloy, she'll be here on Monday with us, and I'm excited to chat with her. And we haven't always agreed, but by that communication with her, I know that even if she makes a vote that I may not agree with, I know she's picked it apart and done her
We're in her mind.
weighing of the scales. And then she thinks to myself, I'm going to have to talk to Jaredson, and he's going to give me a rash of crap.
Yeah.
And he's going to make, make some crass joke. Oh, here we go.
It's true.
Well,
You make them accountable to you when you're looking into their eyes, and they see that every vote they make has an impact that is hurting us or helping us, and which side are they on. And there's a moral impact. We're not fighting bad and good. We're fighting good and evil. And in this timeline where we are in this moment, we're empowering our children not just to survive in society, but to be leaders and to be morally equipped people so that we have a constitution that will survive.
exactly.
Because there's no point of it if they're not moral.
Yes. And so each time I contact my reps, there's a note-taking system in the app. Like, I contact them. So I make it a point to go up to my legislators, shake their hand, and look them in the eyes so they remember my face, as well as the notes that I send them. And I'm like, and he said, well, why didn't you tell me this 2 months ago? And I said, I did, on this date, and this date. And I have it in there. So
Ooh, that's bringing the heat.
Oh, this app is incredible. I mean, I've got actual direct access to these. And did all of these legislators sign up to be part of this, or does this just go to their office when I write the note?
Yeah, it just goes to their office. Well, you put it in, that's your own note to yourself.
It's so cool.
But then
Just think about that. So when they walk away, do they limp when you bring the heavy like that? I mean, that's smarts. That's, that's like you took the glove off. I call you out, sir.
well, yeah, that's what hairdressers are smart enough to do that, right? They keep notes. They know how many kids you have. They know, if you lost your job, and then they bring up that conversation based on their notes. And so, if we're as smart as
I
hairdressers,
wouldn't know.
We call them therapists.
I'm not allowed to go to a hairdresser because I have no hair. You keep bringing this hair thing in.
Can I just add really fast that Jamie Renda says Brooke has beautiful hair.
Yes.
Matthew asked, how do you distribute the funds for hurricane relief? Just curious. And you're going through Mercury One. Is that right?
Mercury One.
So it's not funds that we're doing. We're actually collecting clothing. We're collecting saws. We're collecting
goods.
We're trying to fill an entire semi
Yeah,
in
and
5 days.
Mercury One is Glenn Beck's kind of
Yes.
nonprofit program, and he's been
Yes.
down there Mercury One's been doing a lot of the helicopter rescues and drops, and also getting shut down by local
And
governments.
they're 100% donation. So
Yes.
they're having their event any day now where they raise money for administrative costs separate, but everything you donate is completely right off, and it's also completely distributed. So
Yeah.
Mercury One is an excellent organization. And Jamie Renda said funds work too.
Yes. She also asked, has Matt Hymas already been on, or is he next? He's already been on. So, Jamie, when we're done talking to these two lovely ladies, you're going to have to rewind it and watch the beginning. We chatted with Matt. And then if you have any questions about Matt's competition in this race, we chatted with her last weekend. It was a good conversation. May not be politically aligned, but still, I think
She's
a good person.
A great person. And Matt Hymas is our incumbent. So he is running for another term.
We
under
drag
the
him on
GOP
here every
ticket.
chance we get.
And he's highly, highly engaged. Like he'll come on anytime, like Celeste. Like we can ask him all the time, like, hey, why this? Why this? Why this? And he's been totally transparent that I've found. And when he first came on the show the very first time, before I was part of the show, I was asking questions, comments.
Yeah.
I mean, he hadn't won yet. I was just going through the ringer with him. I was so impressed with his whole thing.
Yep.
Now he's also highly family motivated and believes that the parent education relationship is so important. And
he comes at education the opposite way of your average Democrat, where the Democrat thinks government is the primary party in education, where any thinking human being that doesn't have Satan on speed dial recognizes that a secure family is the primary for any bit of success in any part of life.
And sadly, our kids, guys, our kids are not given the opportunity to have two parents in the household, and life happens, and you have single moms and single dads, and these kids are missing out on this unity and this stuff. And it's nice as a community, as a village, we can be there for each other in the event that a child doesn't have a female in the household or a dad in the household. And I think that groups like this, like what you're doing, you're empowering women who might not have, the ability to do.
The difference is that young women especially are being taught that they don't need a man.
It's
right?
true.
I don't know if you recently saw the Dudes for Kamala video, right? But when you see those guys,
tell me more about this. Dudes for Kamala.
Trump said, don't worry, those dudes aren't going to vote for me, but their wives and their wives' lovers will.
Well, let me lay it out. There's a couple of guys who tracked down who all those dudes were.
Right, there's that.
They're all failing bid actors right now. None of them they're all from LA. They're all a part of the same what do they call it? Group
OnlyFans?
that
Yeah.
no, because OnlyFans, they would be at least showing some kind of success. They're all part of the same. What do you call it? You got the representative. Kind of the same. They have the same representative that shops them out, and they're none of them are dudes. They're all voting for Kamala. Yeah, I don't know. You can rent a ranch and stand any moron out there in bib overalls and tell him to say he eats carburetors for breakfast. He doesn't know what a carburetor is.
Those guys are more manly, though, I would have to say. And actually, you're talking about our young girls and feminism, right? Yes, they don't understand that it means that you believe women have equal rights. That's feminism. They've turned it into a dirty word where you hate men.
Honoring the role of family. So right now what they're teaching is that, not everyone's teaching this, but I don't know if you've seen some of the Attorney General's warning that parenting is the biggest threat, right? So
it is to their overpower. It's just like they want to murder the First Amendment. because that is the threat to them.
But what they're
Hillary
saying is, like,
Clinton.
it's stress. It stresses them out, and so parents don't. They shouldn't parent. They should put their kids into institutions as soon as possible, i.e., daycare, early childhood care, like super early, right?
And
Yeah.
they put parents on the terror watch list, domestic terrorism watch list early on in the administration because they were arguing against their school board.
Yes.
A fundamental thing that we do when you trust someone with your kid 8 hours a day and your kid comes home with some social mental illness that
Right.
they didn't leave your house with, but they're coming home with it. And it is a broken system. It's fractured.
It's like we wrote a book on how to tell if your government has grown too large.
Right.
Or if you wanted to destroy the country, what would you do different than what they're doing right now?
What would I do different?
Because what they're doing right now is that track to destroy the family. Well, first get God out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Then you destroy the family.
Mm-hmm.
Then you institutionalize
Mm-hmm.
the children. You create small little soldiers out of them who worship at the altar of climate change and government.
Yes.
And then they're not free thinkers.
No.
There's no free thinkers. And
they
get
also have
away
no
from your
ambition.
parents. Exactly.
They also have no ambition. I've watched a couple of kids who've turned in assignments and gotten them marked down because they went above and beyond. And what happens if you go above and beyond because you're
Cari, can we get you to try to turn your mic up?
Sorry, maybe.
I can turn her up on this end. Let's see if
Am I better here?
Yeah.
Yep, that's better.
Okay. So I'm watching some children who are turning in assignments and then they're being punished for going above and beyond. That kills ambition.
Who's punishing them?
Well, they're getting lower grades.
Really?
So yes,
So you kill the individual spirit. You kill the individual.
Absolutely. And so we need to build that up. And I believe that the way that we build that up is to rebuild communities. So much of our socialization is on social media. And who knows? I know right before this, I tried to share an interview with Trump and he was talking to a black man and I couldn't share it. And I tried 3 times. So we need to build communities in case that gets worse. We need to rebuild. We need to re-talk to our neighbors. We need to re-get our children into going outside and being social. We need to rebuild. One of the things that I thought about when I decided to join Moms for America is how many moms get on social media. Maybe they get into some community group and they think, oh, I need new friends. And they do read things. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I've seen things that say conservatives need not apply.
I've seen
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'm that's good. You've told me where you stand and I don't need to see your armpit hair. Anyways, I just want to say, let's talk about when you say there's been an attack on family, there has been an open attack on men. How's the Boy Scouts doing nowadays? Anybody know?
We're not biologists. We don't know if they're Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Anywhere that was the feminist movement, anywhere that has been laid out, this is where men are going to go to grow.
Right.
They have been openly assaulted, and it's gone now.
Can I fight back here? Or Brooke, you want to go first? And then I'll fight back.
So with my sons, I've made it a point to point out all of these movies that are making men look like idiots.
Your finger's going to fall right off your hand. Wear out.
You're right on.
It's going to be all dry. You're going to have to lotion that bad, boys.
Yeah. It makes me so upset that my boys, and I'm like, men are doing the most dangerous jobs in the world. They're building our structures. They're fighting in our armies. They're farming our land. Like, they are so essential to our society, and trying to rebuild that. The men's rights movement is actually amazing. The men who stand up and it's called the Red Pill, or I forget what the movie is called, but this woman did it on the men's rights movement.
The Red Pill movie.
Yeah. And so she's standing up there with the microphone, and he's trying to talk about how difficult it is to be a man. And I love that his microphone is shaking. And I point that out to my boys, and I'm like, this man is so brave to say that men need to have a voice. They've been they've been derided and made fun of for saying these things. And so they've backed off because of the third wave of feminism that is destroying families. And so to really empower the boys in my family and tell them how essential their place is, and I think it's vital. It's in the home, you
Absolutely.
know, and those teachings. And that's why I love Moms for America, because in Hawaii, the queen outlawed the hula 20 years late because it was pagan. 20 years later, the king of Hawaii came back and he's like, I traveled the world and people are teaching their history through art and culture. What's our way? We have the hula. Go find out if anybody knows how to do the hula anymore. Come to find out, the mothers for the last 20 years had been teaching their children the hula. They all knew it because they'd been teaching it in the home. And that's why, Moms for America has this curriculum, so that we are teaching it heart to our children to know what their history is, because it's being vilified.
Yeah.
Our noble history is being vilified, and they don't have this. So when you teach it in the home, heart to heart with this material, it's when your kids grow up being proud being male, being proud being American, and all those things are being targeted. So it's really up to the moms to get in there and say, hey guys, we're just going to have a lesson right after dinner. We're going to talk about this, and I'm going to tell you how vital you are to our society and how our founders made sure that all of us can have a voice. And this is what it really looks like. And it was hard to do, but they worked through it and made it happen.
And can I just say, those founders were 19, 20, 23, 25. They were the
and
young
54 and a
generation.
womanizer.
They were the young generation that was so strong that they did this. Can you imagine any of our young people right now creating a government that would sustain itself in the experiment for over 250 years? I mean, it's definitely divine intervention, I believe, but teaching our young people and doing it alongside dad, who is living by example, who is taking care of the home, protecting mom and children, making sure that he's showing good principles and being the leader of the family. That right there, you're absolutely right. That's probably the scariest thing to the people who want to destroy this country.
Can I say something about that? Because I went to scout camp with the boys in August, and yes, for sure they are under attack. There were young scout leaders who were. These boys would paint their nails the pride colors, and they would lift them up, and they would be like, "How do you like having a queer leader?" and trying to have those generative conversations with our boys. But here's the thing. This is our institution. It's sort of like the fact that we have a rainbow that we believe was God gave it to us, right? So these are our institutions. And if we lay down and say, oh, that's fine, we can't fight anymore, we can't stand up anymore, we will lose them. We will lose our beautiful campgrounds that these boys are learning how to be strong and to climb mountains on. We will lose things if we don't have just the conviction that they're ours, just like our country. Our country is ours, and we have to stand up. We have to say, enough is enough. We're going to stand for truth, and it may be hard, and people may say, oh, you're evil, you're right-wing, you're a Nazi, whatever they're going to say, but we have to stand up. And the more that we stand for truth, first off, the more one person stands for truth, then somebody else will join them, and then somebody else. And that's really the goal here. That is the goal with Moms for America, is that in my little county, I've got some women who are like, well, what are you going to do after this campaign? I'm going to do this. And I've gathered all of them, and I've looked at their strengths, and I've said, you could do this, and you could do this. And, then we're going to spread that around across the state. So when you first were talking, you were saying, well, she's in Utah County, but our goal is not to I want us in every single county by the end of the year. I want people who are ready to stand up. Moms who are saying, I know it's my time to lead, and I know I have to do it, because if we don't do it, what are we leaving for our children? We can't be cowards anymore. We can't be afraid of what people are going to say to us, because it's the world our children are living in.
There was a guest recently on Tucker Carlson who talked about the mental illness our country's going to go through when Trump wins, hopefully, and that we don't know what it's going to look like. It'll be lashing out on a scale that we can't even fathom. They're going to need so much mental support because of the loss of the election. And
all the
right
memes will
there,
be sweet though.
That right there is why moms need to be empowered now, because they have to be able to tell their kids it's going to be okay. Everything's fine. We are the people who decide this government, not the other way around. We have to educate our kids that we're in charge, not the government, and that we can always help out and give a hand up to our neighbor before going to the government for it.
Yeah.
And
we
that
have to be prepared the other way too. If we lose,
absolutely,
our children cannot, because they're hearing us. They know how stressed we are. They need
it's
to
so
hear
true.
there's still hope, right? So that's the other reason why we were talking about when to do this launch, and I said it has to be before the election. It has to be before the election, because we've got to put those places in. We've got to be that virtual hug, that virtual place where when people are falling apart and feeling like, oh my gosh, we've lost. And, the rhetoric is that if we lose, there's no more America. But we need to remember that the United States, the American spirit, is our spirit. It's
right.
not necessarily,
doomsday.
Of course I want Donald Trump to win. Of course, I don't think you could get more anti-Kamala than I am. But
wait, I haven't seen all your posts on Facebook. Tell me more. No,
we lost Brooke. It looks like
Brooke hopped out, and if she jumps back on, we'll bring her back in. But we do have to close the show down.
Yeah.
I just want to go through a couple of comments here.
Sure.
Jamie Renda says Joe Joseph Carey, who is also on our state school board, started Mercury One Foundation with Glenn Beck. Just a local note of our incredible state school board. Outstanding.
That's awesome.
Matt Jones says, good job. Jamie Rend also says, Carrie. Oh, never mind. We read that one already. I just want to say, regardless of whether the sane side wins or not, eventually men will be men again, because either men will be men now and we extend this empire out a little longer, or the weak will take over and men will be men because they're forced to, because the world will get awful hard and ugly. Oh,
welcome back, Brooke. Did you
I don't know
to
why.
drive?
I don't know why it went out.
Oh, well, we're closing up. So, ladies, give us your last little shot.
Yeah, talk about this.
I'm
event.
I'm gonna show the picture of it on screen again.
This is Thursday coming up, you guys, October 24th, and this is an in-person or virtual event.
In person. It's
in American Fork.
Mothers, bring moms to that morning thing. That is the most important thing, because once they hear about Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot, and how they target the children, once you know, you can't not do anything. So we need moms to come to this. We also want to connect with them. And then in the evening, when we say, politicians, listen up, we're bringing you an army. There's no more of a leftist organization that's very organized, standing there and bullying you. We are bringing you an army too. You'll know us by our purple shirts. But we want as many people there as possible. There is a charge. It's $15. That just pays for your lunch. But I tried as hard as I could to make this as the most worthy and impactful thing. I tried to make it in the center of the state so that it would be easy for as many people to come to as possible. I know it's short notice, but
how many people do you expect to be there in attendance? I know it says bring a dessert, invite your representatives, bring a dessert to share. How many people would you bring a dessert for?
We have We have no idea. The room seats 800.
Okay.
So we have no idea how many people will come. I'll make the order on Tuesday morning. So for catering. But yeah, please come. Please bring your people. And if you are interested, right now you go to www.momsforamerica.us if you have any interest. On the 24th, our website should be launched, and then we'll be doing our onboarding for the state ourselves.
Is that Moms for America with an FOR or the
Yes.
number?
FOR.
And it's a great way to meet your tribe face to face. That's one of the things that I've loved. Well, I've been in this fight for 5 years, and you often feel alone when you're on social media and everything. So to see your friends in person does so much for your spirit, to know you're not alone, to be connecting on the things that you care about. So come in person and meet your tribe, and then we're going to go forth and build that in our communities so you could see them even more often and keep ourselves motivated and knowing that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, this looks like a tremendous organization. I mean, I love the fact that you guys are so passionate. Cari, I know you're a very passionate person. You are a woman of service, and you do lead by example, which is extraordinary. And
I
Brooke,
begged for Brooke to come on.
It's so nice to meet you, Brooke. And
Yes.
Thank you
I
for
mean,
having.
we'd love to have you on again. Hopefully sometime soon, if anything. For me, this is tough because I am a stay-at-home mom, so I get my kids to school, and this is all happening, and I take them to a charter, which is a commuter school. So this is kind of a hard way for me to even get there on time. I know, baffling that I could get anywhere on time.
Show up late.
So
Yeah.
how long does it go? It starts, there's an early morning.
So it's from 9 to 2:30, and then there's a break so people. Originally, we were thinking about showing Julie Bailing's film, but you could also go. We're in American Fork, so you could go to Lehigh and go enjoy shopping or the Thanksgiving Point exhibit or something, if you are coming from a long ways. And then the evening is 7 to 8:30 at night.
I love the lineup you have. Celeste Malloy, Nicolene Peck, these are women that has inspired me so much. And Nicolene and her involvement with families and the education system, and Celeste is a congresswoman who is so transparent where it comes to engaging with us here in the county. At Tina Cannon, I believe, did I see her on there as well?
Yeah, we dig Tina too. She's
awesome.
We like Tina.
They're not speaking, so Nicolene is, but elected officials are not speaking. We're just talking with them afterwards.
Yeah, well, they're there. I love
You're
it.
just holding them hostage. I like it.
Pretty much. We're just saying we're watching. So
I love it.
Also, we're supporting. So yeah.
Now, I have to say, anybody that has a chance, make sure you go look at this app, Amplify USA. And Brooke, I hope you will find a way to monetize it in some way. I know you don't want to charge the user and you don't want to sell information, which I love. But there's probably a lot of people that would love to have advertising on an app like this that gets directly to people with their values. So I could see a difference, there. I got it on the App Store.
I think it'd be awesome.
If you use it, try it, and then rate it. I think that helps get the app out there to people. And my goodness, I'm actually my dashboard's got all these representatives that represent Tooele County. And then I'm even able to tap into some that don't, just so I can stay ahead of what and who is doing what. I think it's extraordinary. It's it's one of those stupid, smart ideas. I can't believe this didn't exist already.
What if you could
so localized?
What if you could sell just ads that different politicians want to run, so that people in Tooele County see ads of people they'll vote for, and people in Summit County and people in LA see ads for their stuff.
Yeah, I think that is eventually where we could go, and then you could pay to not see ads. But I want to make sure I have control over the ads, so it's not crazy stuff popping up, but it's meaningful stuff to users. Um, and so, especially with the town halls, I really want to get people out and helping their legislators even campaign. It's so hard to get people out there, and so doing a blitz and saying, "Come on, guys, we're going to have donuts," and do 1 hour of just letting your neighbors know we're here.
As
So
a
yeah,
county
there are a
chair,
lot of options. And I
as,
think that, I'm sorry.
Brooke, as a county chair, something like this, where I could say, hey, Brooke, can I announce this event I'm having for my candidates? Can I put this on here? I'll pay you to have it look like an ad. It invites people to come out and meet Celeste. I mean, this gives me a whole different venue option, and county chairs usually have budgets for, like right now I've got a small budget for my election, and you know, how best am I going to spend money? I want to pinpoint as close as possible to our voters who feel represented by the GOP. I'm sure the Democrats have that same feeling.
Right.
Because even Democrats love their kids and are moms.
Yeah.
And I think they could make a huge impact knowing that it's okay to take care of your family and not feel ashamed for realizing its value, regardless of how you vote.
Right. Right. Well, there's a lot more that unifies us than that separates us. And a lot of that is the love for our communities, our families, and our country. And that's where we can stand up together.
So
Yes.
agree.
That's very good. Ladies, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts and all that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you for fighting this, hopefully, good fight, not doomed fight. It's an uphill battle, believe me.
We can't lose America, not without a fight. Right?
Yeah, not without a fight. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to mainstreetmediautah.com for everything they do for us. Again, go the different websites, go check out momsforamerica.us. You got Moms for America Action. Look those up. Go to the event. I'd love to see a lot of moms go to the event. Are dads welcome at the event as well?
Yes, come if you can.
All right.
Especially influencers, Jared.
I am not one of that.
Kind of.
Bad influencers?
You don't
'Cause
want
he's
me.
a bad influence
You
on
don't
a lot
want
of
me
things.
influencing. But yes, I if I can break away, I'll definitely come to that because
Great.
you had me at lunch. Anyways, Cari, thank you so much, and
Give our
we'll
best,
we'll
Adam.
definitely talk again. And Adam, have a good night, you handsome bugger. And yes, we will see you guys soon.
Thank you,
Sounds great.
Cari.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Bye.